Pregame.com.
Welcome back to Pregame.tv. Sunday NFL action. We're going to take a look at the Indianapolis Colts at the Jacksonville Jaguars. This is going to be my man Ken's pick. And normally, I may not agree with them, but I don't always disagree with them. We're going to debate this one a little bit.
All right,
I'm not with you on this.
Will we be able to watch the video back ourselves next week after the game?
Sure.
Okay.
No problem.
All right.
No problem.
You folks at home tune in as well.
All right. Well, first of all, we know you're a Colts fan.
Yes.
So, might be a little biased in there.
I know. You know what, though? I'll go against the Colts a lot. Now, I did get on them against San Francisco just because the line got up to 10.5. And then I threw them in their money line just to have some fun because I was already ticked off that I lost the Packer game and the Falcon game in the waning moments. So kind of bummed out going into the afternoon game. But
the Falcon game, I'll commiserate with you. You got a tough break there.
Well, Packers too. I mean, 4th and 1.
Cincinnati. I was on Cincinnati.
Oh, okay. There you go. That's right. Because if your Steelers can't beat Cincinnati, you might as well get on them because they have Harrison, one of your old Steelers guys, right?
This is true.
You can live vicariously through the Bengals in the playoffs.
But I'll tell you what, real fast on the Cincinnati game. Have you ever seen a game where a team turned the ball over 4 times in 9 plays?
How about, remember that stat, Western Kentucky, 5 turnovers on 6 plays. It's just the most unbelievable stat of all.
But we're talking about pros.
No.
We're talking about pros.
No.
We're talking about and I went from a 14-0 lead to a 30-14 deficit. I was not a happy camper. But
I want you to get on my Colts though, because your Steelers are 0-3, so you got nothing to talk about there.
This is true. All right. Well, look at this game, and I'm a situational guy,
right.
So that this is going to be a situation. We're getting.
There's a situation.
We're getting
somebody calling, seeing the video live, saying, "You got to be kidding me, Marco."
Sorry about that, guys. Late breaking news. Somebody probably calling to tell me I'm an idiot, but that's another story.
That's good stuff.
We look at this one in Jacksonville. They're ugly. I can't argue that with you, but in the NFL, that it's all about Vegas is the great equalizer. They're going to keep moving the lines until they feel they got it where there's a 50-50 shot that, both teams have the equal shot of covering the spread.
All right. Did we not hear that, though, last week as Seattle went up to close to a 20-point favorite, that nobody laying 19-20 is going to cover? They only cover 20% of the time.
And I debated about on the Tuesday meeting this week, and it was the first thing I said, and every sharp in town was doing the same thing with that because history has shown the big dogs cover in the NFL. And the one thing I said is, everybody's so smart. We're all smart in the room. Not one person said last week when we were talking about that stat, do you remember Pete Carroll when he was in college? Did he ever take his foot off the gas at USC?
No.
Okay. Has he taken his foot off the gas so far in the NFL?
No.
Okay. No, we're a week late on saying that, but that's the case. So now we've got a Jacksonville team that got totally blown out, going back to Gabbard at quarterback this week. You've got Indianapolis that they're at the top of the mountain. That's probably the biggest win for the Colts since, this coach had this team. I mean, to go to San Francisco, to beat Harbaugh, not only to beat Harbaugh, he beat Harbaugh coming off a week in which Harbaugh lost, which has been absolute gold since Harbaugh has been in San Francisco.
Not only lost, got embarrassed in Seattle.
So went in there and took it to them, held that mighty San Francisco team to 7 points offensively.
In the first quarter. They didn't score again after the first quarter.
So I don't think Indianapolis could look any better than they possibly are. So why in God's name would I even want to sniff around this Jacksonville team?
I have no clue.
Because after such a big win, flying to the West Coast, then you come home, now you got to go back out on the road for a second week. This is an indoor team that's going to be playing in Florida, outdoors, on grass. It's still warm in Florida this time of the year. So you got an indoor team outside, going to be in the heat, 1 o'clock start. And I'm looking at the schedule. You just come off your biggest win in recent franchise memory. And you've got next week, off of San Francisco, you got to go and play at home the Seattle Seahawks. You talk about a sandwich game. That's about as meaty of a sandwich as you can get when you've got San Francisco on the front end of that and Seattle on the back end, and you're going to throw in Jacksonville that can't get out of their own way. How does Indianapolis stay focused this week? That's my question.
All right, no problem. Here's how they stay focused, because everything you just pulled off in San Francisco means nothing if you go down to Jacksonville and lay an egg. You basically negate the big win in San Francisco. If you lose to the worst team in football, you need to go in there, make a statement, number one, to Houston that should be 0-3, and say, hey, we're here. Not only are we good enough to hang with you, we're good enough to take the AFC South, because we just bolstered our team, getting Trent Richardson to go along with who I said had to stay healthy for the Colts before they got Richardson, and Ahmad Bradshaw, that ran for 95 yards. They ran the ball down the throat of San Francisco. Nobody does that. Aldon Smith played, so no excuse. Justin Smith still a stud. They still have Willis and company. Their defense is still creme de la creme as far as the NFL goes. The Seattle and San Francisco, I got them 1-1A with the Bears because they're opportunistic. But they got the ball shoved down their throat. They were on their heels the whole game. I have never, as a Colts fan for better than 4 decades, I never remember the Colts running the ball like that with authority. And no flashy stats. Look at Luck. Only threw for 175 yards or whatever it was, but stayed within himself. The cerebral guy from Stanford that he is, managed the game perfectly. They got Reggie Wayne involved with a little swing pass just to get him involved. He finished with 63 yards. Nobody great stats. Stanley Havili out of USC, one of the better blocking fullbacks and a great pass receiver as well, a nice safety valve. But Bradshaw and Richardson, those two guys, and again, Richardson doesn't even know the playbook last week in San Fran. They're only going to get better, Marco.
There's no question. And if they can run the ball like that and become a power team running, it's only going to make Andrew Luck a much better quarterback. Well, you know what? We've kind of teased this one around. Let's go ahead and make it official.
All right. And it is no teasing, and I know the Colts are my team, but I'll go against the Colts just like I go against USC. I was all over Wazoo when they were catching 16 against USC. In fact, had them on the money line as well. Colts I took on the money line just a little bit just to have some fun. Really didn't think they'd beat San Francisco, but thought they could stay within 10.5. And I was even leery there because San Francisco got blown out by Seattle. And like Marco said, usually off a loss, Harbaugh's not only going to beat you, he's going to crush you, especially if he's going back to the stick. But the Colts made a statement. But again, I don't put too much into it, because Vernon Davis wasn't there, still no Manningham, no Crabtree. And again, I think they need to get Kendall Hunter the ball a lot more than they do Frank Gore. To me, Frank Gore has lost a step or two, and they're very predictable when they go off tackle with him. But the Colts stood up. They played a great defensive game on the line of scrimmage, and offensive line-wise, that was the best I've seen the Colts run the ball in the last 15 years. Now, the reason I'm going to go with the Colts against Jacksonville, number one, home field advantage. What home field advantage? Are you kidding me? They'll be lucky if there's 20,000, and out of those 20,000, 15,000 may be Colts fans, Andrew Luck fans, Colts fans. I mean, literally, Jacksonville has the worst attendance. It doesn't matter if there's new owners. They didn't go out and try and get Tebow or do anything to try and make this team exciting. Still missing Blackman. What do they have? Mojo Drew? Okay, Mojo Drew, 44 carries for 115 yards, 2.6 a carry. Go Mojo. All right, so you've got Chad Henne, but he's going to be removed. You're going to bring Blaine Gabbert back in. I thought we were already getting rid of Blaine Gabbert. I mean, this team is lost. This is the worst NFL team that I have seen in a long, long time. I mean, they are really bad. They're back there with the 0-26 Tampa Bay Bucks wearing the creamsicle uniforms. That's how bad this team is. Now, they have a couple guys. Cecil Shorts at third, comes to play every down, like that guy. Ace Sanders, not bad, another good receiver. Puzlesny, still wondering why the hell he signed there. I can't believe somebody else didn't grab Paul Puzlesny. And Jason Babin, who left Philly, got cut by the Eagles. He's another guy that's launched there. He's got 2 sacks and going, God, are we going to win a game? They could go 0-16. That's how bad this team is. Henne's going to be replaced. I thought it's not Henne's fault that, he's still throwing for, 512 yards in a couple games and 2 interceptions, just a 1 touchdown. But you're bringing Gabbert in. He's got 2 interceptions in his 1 game, the opener, no touchdowns. The Colts defense, Freeman, Mathis, Bethea, Davis, Redding, these guys are all solid. LaRon Landry didn't even play against San Francisco. He's their leading tackler. He should be back this week. So you bring in Luck. You've got Reggie Wayne, my boy. T.Y. Hilton really didn't get into the action much. He was a little hobbled by an ankle injury. Darius Hayward-Bay. Raider fans, remember that guy? Yes, he can catch the ball. It was evident last week. Had some big catches. If he steps up and plays the way he did, Colts not only will be big in this game, they're going to be a threat to the Houston Texans. They're going to be a threat to the rest of the AFC. And I'm not saying that because I'm a Colts fan. I'm saying that because Trent Richardson and Ahmad Bradshaw are 2 top-tier running backs that if they are healthy and on the same team, how much pressure does that take take off Andrew Luck, all of a sudden those passing lanes are going to be wide open because guys are going to start cheating to the line of scrimmage because they don't want to get the ball run down their throat. So that's my play, pregame.tv. Take the Colts. If you're laying less than 10, I don't see any problem for the Colts covering a touchdown each half. I think they win this game by 20 points. And again, I know it's a situation that favors Jacksonville, but this team is so bad, I don't think there is a situation that will ever favor Jacksonville this season, Marco.
All right, well, I can give you that much that sometimes a team is just that bad, and we'll find out. But we'll see after this week. Ken says to take Indianapolis, go ahead and lay the wood. I'd do it quick because this line's only going to go one direction, folks. It's going to go up. All right, that wraps up that.
Not to get confused with Marco's favorite music group. One Direction, you're my daughter, buddy.
Oh, man, what a segue. We're coming back. We're going to talk Philadelphia Eagles at the Denver Broncos. That's up next, pregame.tv.